My sister-in-law lost her mind at my wife and uninvited her from her baby shower because my wife made a joke defending me from my sister-in-law. Now the whole family is in chaos. Posted by you/throw_ra_Gunnar dude. I, 30M, recently married the love of my life, 28F, and I'm super close with my brother, 35M. We always imagined our families being close to, until one single lunch ruined everything. So, my wife and I went out to eat with my brother and my sister-in-law, 31F, who is pregnant and about to give birth to my first nephew. Needless to say, we are all very excited. Mid-meal, my brother, probably feeling sentimental, goes, "Man, I hope the baby turns out like Op. He was such a cute kid." Now, a bit about my sister-in-law. She's usually nice and I like her, but she's definitely type A and a bit high maintenance. Without missing a beat, she shuts my brother down. "No, I'd much rather he turns out like you." A bit of an awkward comment, and my brother probably thought so as well, so he goes, "No, seriously, we'd be lucky if the kid was like Op. He was such a nice and cute kid." And then, my sister-in-law doubles down. "No, but you're so much more handsome," before turning to look directly at me and adding, "No offense." Now, look. I wasn't deeply offended, my brother is a very good-looking guy, so I get it. But who just says that out loud? My wife, who had been quiet up to this point, clearly found it rude. So she jokingly goes, "Well, as long as the baby doesn't look like sister-in-law's name, we should be fine." I chuckled. My brother laughed. My sister-in-law did not laugh. She immediately got pissed, glared at my wife, and went, "What the hell does that mean? That's extremely rude. We're not close enough for jokes like that." My wife was taken aback, and so was I. My brother tried to say something, but she stormed out. My brother followed her, looking about as confused as I felt. Fast forward to today, my sister-in-law has officially disinvited my wife from the baby shower/celebration. My wife says she doesn't even want to go, which, fair enough. My brother is devastated and really wants me to be there. Now, here's the thing, my brother adores me. He's always been my biggest supporter, and he wants me to be a big part of my nephew's life. He's having his first child, and this moment is really important to him. I love my brother too and can't see him sad like that. He says both my wife and my sister-in-law need to apologize eventually, but we shouldn't force it right now and should give them some time to cool off. He also thinks my sister-in-law owes me an apology for what she said, but again, pregnancy hormones or whatever, so he doesn't want to push it yet. My parents actually side with my wife and think my sister-in-law was out of line first. But they also believe I shouldn't miss such a huge moment in my brother's life and that we should cut my sister-in-law some slack because of her pregnancy. Here's my issue, I don't feel right going if my wife isn't welcome. I want to support her, but I also know this moment means the world to my brother. If I go, my wife might feel abandoned. If I don't, my brother will be heartbroken. I feel completely stuck. Relevant comments. Commenter. What does your wife think? Does she want you to go? Personally, I would ask my husband to go because I wouldn't want to rob him of that opportunity with his own brother, especially if I didn't even care to attend the baby shower to begin with. It wouldn't hurt me in the slightest, I'd be home drinking wine, waiting for the gossip when he gets back. But that's me, and she is her, so I think you should honestly ask her what she thinks and feels about you going and honor whatever she says because, well, that's your person now. Op's response. Knowing my wife, she will definitely say that I should go. But I also feel that, deep down, she will feel that I didn't stick up for her while she did stick up for me. Commenter 2. Why does your brother think his wife owes your wife an apology? She made the comment to you, not your wife. Op's response. I think he meant it as a general apology to both of us and for escalating the situation. To be fair, I wasn't really offended. I'm not insecure about my looks, and I'm glad that my sister-in-law finds my brother more attractive, that's the way it should be. But what my sister-in-law said did kind of offend my wife, and hence, the stupid argument. Update 6 days later. Thanks, everyone, for the replies. I think I read almost every single one. I really appreciated the different perspectives. First, some clarifications. My wife is not a mean person. She made a joke in the moment, although I admit it wasn't a great joke given the sensitivity of the situation. But she's genuinely one of the kindest, most caring people I know. That's one of the reasons I love her so much. I don't think my brother did anything wrong by bringing up the topic. We were reminiscing about childhood, and he probably got nostalgic about having his little brother follow him everywhere. My brother and I resemble each other quite a bit, though he's definitely the better looking one, funny how that works. And just to be clear, that doesn't mean I'm insecure. If anything, he's the outlier, he's one of those people who naturally turn heads. Even when we were younger, he'd get random girls hitting on him wherever he went. It was such a running joke in our family that even my parents would tease him about it. The entire conversation lasted less than 5 minutes and escalated very quickly. I agree with the comments that all of us should have handled the situation better. But it's easier to say that in hindsight. In real time, things just got out of hand very quickly. I'm sure that all of us regret what we said in the moment. Now for the actual update. I told my wife that I wouldn't go unless she was also invited. She immediately told me that she didn't want to be the reason I missed it and that I should go if I wanted to. She even said she'd be willing to apologize if my sister-in-law was open to it, but that she wouldn't attend even if re-invited because she'd feel uncomfortable. I told her I appreciated that, but for me, it was both of us or none of us. Then I called my brother. And this is where I have to give him a lot of credit, because I know he was upset. He had really wanted me there, and I could hear the disappointment in his voice. But instead of pushing, he just said, "I get it, man. Don't worry about it." I know that wasn't easy for him to say. He had to balance keeping things calm with his wife while also wanting his brother by his side. But he didn't guilt-trip me or try to convince me otherwise, he just let me make my choice. He even said, "Don't worry, we'll save you guys some food and I'll drop it off later." I offered to help with setup if he needed it and told him to say I had COVID to avoid awkward questions. He just laughed and said, "Got it. You caught the world's shortest COVID, just long enough for the baby shower but miraculously recovered the next day." Now, here's where things got a bit more complicated. My mom was not happy with him for not sorting this out earlier. She felt like he should have stepped in and made peace before it got to the point where my wife was uninvited. But my parents didn't say anything directly because they didn't want to get involved in the drama. I think that really weighed on him. He was already trying to navigate a tough situation, and now he had our parents silently judging him too. It put him in an impossible position, trying to be a good husband, a good brother, and a good son all at once. A couple of days passed with no further drama. Then something unexpected happened. My wife got a call from my sister-in-law. At first, my wife panicked, thinking she was about to get yelled at. But instead, they actually had a really good conversation. I overheard bits of it, including my wife saying, "No, you're gorgeous," which made me laugh a little. After the call, my wife told me that my sister-in-law actually apologized first. She admitted that she'd been feeling really self-conscious about her looks during pregnancy and that my wife's joke had hit a sore spot. A little later, my brother called me. He told me that he had gently talked to my sister-in-law and helped her see that things had gotten out of hand. He also told me that knowing my wife was willing to apologize had made a huge difference. And then, he admitted something. He had wanted to fix things before the baby shower, but he knew his wife was already under a lot of stress. He didn't want to add more pressure on her while she was in the middle of planning. And honestly, I respect that. My sister-in-law is one of those people who needs everything to be perfect, her look, my brother's look, the house, the decorations, etc. So I can understand the pressure she must have put on herself. And my brother knew that pushing her while she was stressed wouldn't have helped, so he waited. And after the event, when things calmed down, he quietly stepped in and fixed things. So where do things stand now? Things seem good on the surface. My wife and my sister-in-law made peace, and my brother and I are fine. My wife and I have decided to just be extra sensitive around my sister-in-law given what she is going through. All in all, the situation seems to have brought us somewhat closer together. The real takeaway, I have an amazing wife, but her humor could use some work. Also, my brother ain't too bad. Side note, speaking of whom, my brother will probably never see this because he only uses Reddit for sports and news, or so he says, but in the off chance he does, well, guess I'm busted. But since I have your attention, I'll admit something just this once. You are the best bro I could have asked for. That time you helped me with uni, I don't think you know how much it really meant to me. And when I was at a really low point, you stood by me. I don't think I've ever said it, but I've always appreciated that. Of course, I won't ever admit this in person and will forever deny I ever wrote this. Relevant comments. Commenter. Would you laugh if your sister-in-law made the same joke about your wife while she was pregnant? You appreciate your brother so much because he made sure his wife did what was best for you. Honestly, your sister-in-law had nothing to apologize for. No one tells a pregnant woman, everything will be fine if the baby doesn't look like you. She's the one suffering, only to hear that she's so ugly just because she wanted her child to look like her husband. Your wife wasn't joking, she wanted to hurt her, and you all acted like it was a joke. It wasn't. Your sister-in-law deserves better. Ops response. My sister-in-law apologized for uninviting my wife after realizing that my wife was sorry about the joke. I know everyone is looking at it either one way or the complete opposite, but in reality, I think we were all somewhat to blame. Commenter 2. Come on, Op. I know you want to think the best of your brother because you love him, but let's use our common sense here. If you were so offended by someone that you disinvited them from your event, would you call them a few days later to apologize? Of course not. The reason your sister-in-law called is that your brother encouraged her to. You stood by your wife, but your brother didn't stand by his. He sided with you, your wife, and your parents. Op's response. My sister-in-law called because she realized my wife was sorry and wanted to apologize. My brother literally sacrificed having his brother there just so his wife wouldn't feel bad. He stood by his wife, as he should, but also helped resolve the situation, as he should. Commenter 3. If your wife wanted to apologize, why didn't she call, text, or even send a letter? Why did your sister-in-law have to be the one to break the ice? Your brother shouldn't have had to convince his wife that your wife was sorry. Your wife should have been an adult and found a way to apologize on her own. You and your family can continue to behave like this if you want. However, you need to know that this is how in-laws end up having less access to nieces and nephews than they would like. Your sister-in-law might be fine with everything now because she's hormonal and vulnerable. Eventually, she's going to come out of that and realize how messed up it was that she had to reach out to your wife in order to get an apology. By the way, stop saying your brother made a sacrifice by not having you at his baby shower. It's cringy. His pregnant wife was insulted by his sister-in-law. Disinviting your wife was the least he could do.